Hello, welcome to my channel. Today I want to talk about 2 Corinthians 5 verse 7, which says, "For we walk by faith and not by sight." You see, this Bible verse is very special, and it's really played an important role to me in my walk with Jesus. And I just wanted to share some few nuggets with you on this verse, which I'm hoping and praying that they'll be able to also help you in your walk with Jesus. So first of all, what this verse means when we talk about walking by faith and not by sight, we basically are talking about how as Christians we need to focus on the truth, not what we see. The example that I'll give you is there's this story that I read of the story of faith, and experience. The three of them were walking on top of a thin wall, a very thin wall, and fact was ahead, faith was in the middle, and experience was at the back. So fact went straight on. He didn't look back, he didn't look sideways, he didn't look up and down. He just looked where he was going, and everything was going good. And then faith, as long as faith was looking ahead where he or she was going, everything was fine. But the moment that faith was like, oh, let me look back and check on how experience is doing, then he or she, I'm going to say she because I'm called Faith, so she started to fall down, and poor experience fell down with her. So the point here is, as long as faith was looking ahead, then everything was fine. And in our lives as Christians, when we walk, we need to look ahead. And our ahead is Jesus. We need to look at the prize, and Jesus is the ultimate prize. So we need to always look at Jesus and not look around us to see what is going on, because the moment we look around us to see what is going on is the moment we start to fall. I will tell you for a fact that the devil is a liar, and the devil has been there since the beginning of everything. He's like the longest living person. He's been there before we have all been here. So you can imagine how many years he's had to practice his art of lying. Like, the Bible calls him the father of lies, and he has been lying since the beginning. So he has mastered more developed and advanced ways of lying and tricking and deceiving us as Christians. The devil doesn't only lie by words or whispering lies to you, but he has become so experienced in lying that he now makes his lies like exhibit themselves in reality. I was reading a book by Watchman Nee, and he was talking about how he had been sick for a whole week with fever and headache and all of these things, and during that time God gave him a word of healing when he was reading the Bible. So immediately when God gave him this word, his faith told him, oh, you're healed now because God spoke healing to you. So he expected all of a sudden the pain to go away, because this is what God had said to him. But at that moment, the moment he thought in his mind, oh, then it means I'm going to be healed, all of a sudden he started feeling worse. He started feeling even more sick than he was before receiving the word. He had a terrible headache, a high fever, he couldn't sleep, he was so sick. And at that point the devil started whispering to him like, oh, where are your promises? Where is your healing? Where is your God? Where is your faith? The devil does that to the best of us, right? To try and discourage us and make us doubt everything. And at that moment when he was feeling this, he had a Bible verse came to his mind which says, your word is the truth. And then he thought, oh wow, if the Lord's word is the truth, so what is this that I'm feeling? What is this that the devil is saying? And then he remembered that verse which says, let the word of God, let God be true, but every man a liar. And at that point he already knew that everything else was a lie. Yes, he was feeling pain. Yes, he couldn't sleep. Yes, his fever was high, and all of these things. Like, he was literally feeling these things, but he knew that this is a lie. Even if he's feeling it, it is a lie. So he just said, I rebuke you. I rebuke you, headache, you are a lie. I rebuke you, fever, you are a lie. I rebuke you, sleeplessness, you are a lie. The word of God says, I am healed and I am healed. And at that moment, when he rebuked all of these things, he fell asleep, and then tomorrow morning he woke up and he was healed. So this happens to all of us. Like, so many of us have received words of healing from God, but before they manifest, the devil starts to lie to us and make us doubt, and we see it. Like, we literally see that we are still sick, we still feel the symptoms, or even we even feel worse than we were before. Like, yeah, that's the devil, but those things are lies. Faith, what faith says is sticking to the truth over senses. Like, walking by faith and not by sight is like ignoring the mountains. There are two things. There'll be faith and there'll be a mountain. But in this situation, one thing has to stand. Either faith has to be strong enough for the mountain to fall, or the mountain will be too strong for the faith to fall. So in most cases, for us Christians, it's almost always the norm that faith wavers and the mountain remains, because we are sensual people. We are still on earth. We are still being we're still in our fleshly bodies, and we succumb to signs, we succumb to symptoms. Like, you see, literally, you don't have money in your bank account, and you need to pay your rent, you need to pay your bills and stuff, and this is what you are saying, and you start to waver on your faith, on the truth of what God said, that He will bless you and He will supply all your needs according to the riches of His glory. Like, this is what God says, and if only we would stay and remain resolute on what God said, our lives as Christians, our Christian experiences will be so much better. But more often than not, we tend to waver, and we tend to our faith tends to dwindle, and we tend to be overcome with our senses, and we forget what the truth is. Everything else that is contradictory to the word of God is a lie. Everything else that is not in line with the word of God is a lie. It doesn't matter what it looks like. It doesn't matter that you can really touch it. The thing with faith is that it's like you have to believe. It's like there are two things that you have to believe. The natural, tangible things that you can really see, or believing God and His word, which is like intangible things that are in the spiritual realm, things we have never experienced. So it takes a lot to really cultivate faith that will stand. That's why the word says, if your faith is as small as a mustard seed, you will tell the mountain to move and it will move, because it only needs faith. Like, you need faith that you will say, you know what, God, I am trusting you. I am putting all my hope and trust in you. If I'm gonna die, I die. If I die, I die. But I am trusting you. I'm putting my faith in you. Like, this is what we need to do, and we just need to like surrender everything and sit back and relax and say, God, I'm gonna trust in you, because you are God, and you are gonna come and take control. So my word for you today is, no matter what you see, no matter how bad, no matter how hard, no matter how painful it is, if you walk by faith, and that being what God has said, what God has promised you, all of us, even me, I have a lot of promises that God has spoken over my life, and most of those things have not come to pass. But because God has said these things, and the word of God says these things, like, that becomes my truth. That becomes my truth, that each time the devil comes and lies, and trust me, he does this a lot. He does this a lot. I'm just still also trying to work on this, and I urge you to continue to stay resolute and stand on the truth of the word of God, and you will find that your life will be so much easier, because all these things that we are stressing ourselves about and trying to figure out and trying to organize, and we're just literally worrying about things that are none of our business. Like, your life is not your business. If you have surrendered your life to Jesus, it's not your business anymore. It's His business. So let go and let God. Like, let Him do it. That is His business. If you need to pay a rent and you've done the best you can and you're stuck, say, God, I've done my best, you do the rest. Like, I'm out, like I'm just gonna sit here, I'm out here just sitting and wait for you to come here and do your thing. And then you relax and you get that peace of God that surpasses all understanding. But you have to trust God. You have to have faith, that faith that can literally move mountains. That is the faith that you need. So today I urge you to keep your mind on the things of God. Walk on faith and not by sight. It doesn't matter what it looks like. It doesn't matter how much pain you're feeling. It doesn't matter. The truth of God is what stands. Let the word of God be true and every man be a liar. God bless you.